episode of Road to 100k. Now, if you're looking at the title of this video and seeing that I've sold £10,000 of the S&P, it's not because I'm in fear of the market or think the market's going to die forever. The reason I've decided to sell £10,000 of my S&P 500 is it's pretty ballsy move, but it's because I've gone into 4 stocks that I believe are massively undervalued, and with my age and time horizon, I am happy to take on the risk. I'm a bit of a stocks nerd, and I love looking at it. I'm not into just invest and forget kind of thing. I'm not saying that you should do that. You should probably stick to index funds, but the reason I've done it is because I've bought into 4 companies, and one of those companies is actually Microsoft. With the massive dips that it's had, I just believed it was a massive buying opportunity. And going forward, especially under $400 a share, I will be continuing to buy this. Now, Microsoft is just under £9,000. So it's about 25%, just under 25% of the portfolio, and I'm happy with that. And the other stock I've been buying is actually Amazon, and anywhere near $200, under $220 a share, I am happy to keep topping up that position. And another one is also Meta. Now, although I do believe in tech, another stock I've been buying is actually Visa. Now, I do believe this is also another great buying opportunity, but good thing with Visa with me is it's not tech. It's not about AI. So I believe it's slightly diversifies my portfolio, which I'm happy with, and it pays a small dividend, but it is a very high dividend growth stock, which I'm happy about. So I do plan on keep adding to these positions at these prices. Now, Visa this week actually went down to $304 a share, and I really wish I could have bought some there, but unfortunately didn't have the funds. I did actually keep a bit of cash from when I sold the S&P 500, but when Microsoft went to $394 a share, just couldn't resist. So I had 125 shares of the S&P 500, and I now have 20 shares. What I'm going to do with this in the future, I'm not entirely sure yet. I may just keep it there, or if the market keeps on dipping, I may just completely sell out of it. I am not recommending to do that, by the way. I would do your own research. So overall, the portfolio has been taking a pretty big hit. We did have a nice little rise yesterday, and then we've come back down again. So on the week, we are pretty flat. On the month, we're down 3.6%, which obviously it does hurt, but you've got to expect that investing. On the 3 months, we're down. Year to date, we're pretty flat. Let's see, S&P 500, we can't see that flat. Let's see, 3 months. So the S&P is pretty flat for the year, so we're not underperforming massively. But when you have these dips in your portfolio, sometimes you just got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. In the last year, we're still up 32.8%, just under £9,000 in the green, which you really can't complain about, to be honest. So I'd just love to know what are your opinions. What stocks are you buying at the minute? Personally, I think I've probably going the heaviest on Microsoft and Visa at the minute. To be honest, the portfolio is mostly being held by ASML and Google. So Google was my biggest single stock, but it is now my fifth biggest holding. I do really want Google to be my biggest holding, but at these prices, it still doesn't really interest me with my average buying price at $180. I would love to see a bit of a dip with Google so I can buy some more, but like I say, I just feel like there's better opportunities in the market. So obviously buying out the S&P 500, especially buying into stocks like Amazon, it doesn't pay a dividend, and Meta, which very small dividends, they actually announced that they're not increasing the dividend this year. So selling out with them and buying into them has made my dividends go down, which I'm not too bothered about, to be honest. So I'll go on to Snowball Analytics now and just show you my dividends statistics. Now on to Snowball Analytics, and looking at the passive income, we are now on £228. Now I know previously I was on around £262, so we have gone down there, expecting that obviously, but not massively. But our dividend growth rate has gone up to 12%. I know it was around 9%, so pretty happy with that, to be honest. Obviously, I'm not cashing out the dividends now, so the growth to me is more important. So looking at our dividends, this is the calendar for the year, so it tells me what dividends I'm getting and when. So we just received a nice dividend from ASML in February. These are the dividends we're getting in March. The one we're getting off Visa is $12, but I actually bought up in Visa after the ex-dividend date. So our next dividend from Visa I think it's in June, is actually $16.75. And I think they grow their dividend about 14% per year. So those dividends will very quickly compound and add up. So we have $22 in Microsoft in March, but again, I bought some after the ex-dividend date. So we'll look at June's now. £40 for June, $27 off Microsoft, almost $17 off Visa, and these off Google and Meta. Although we did mostly sell out the SP 500, we do still have a £4.92 dividend off them in April, which will of course be reinvested like all my other dividends. But something that I just quickly wanted to say is, obviously all the tech stocks have been crashing this year, and a lot of that capital has gone into more defensive stocks. For example, Procter and Gamble. If we look at the year to date on Procter and Gamble, it's up over 14%. When you look at the history, obviously that is a big move. So stocks like this, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, for example, obviously they've all gone up massively. So a lot of people think, well, that stock's gone up, I'm going to buy that now. But when there's a lot of fear in a sector like tech, I feel like you want to be greedy then, buying at great prices now instead of buying companies like Coca-Cola, for example, at an all-time high. Obviously, Coca-Cola is a great company, and I used to own it. And you think, probably regret selling that now, but I moved a lot of this capital into stocks like Google and ASML when they were at a great buying price. So I don't really regret that at all because they've done really well. But yeah, that's how the portfolio is doing, and that's my take on it. let me know what you guys are investing in. And yeah, any questions in the comments, please let me know. And if you could subscribe, I'd love it. So just keep on investing, guys.